seen some people are celebrating the 3 years of UPND. You should be worried. You should be worried. Really, you should be worried. 3 years down the line, what have you done? What have you done by UPND? Lero, I just want to, I want my UPND to be the ones to call in. Nala mi pela number and therefore by UPND mulande. I think first kopolo elendi monambe. Take the number so that you know much tentuan kane mulembe. I want you to call in. Mwa mwana number chef number mwala ubukopo mwako atate chimumone kamtilivule pantu mwali chiramo ubukopo ba UPND iyo nambe defo amimone number kopolo len defo amutume munjebeko if you muchitire what you have done. I want you to take that number and call me on WhatsApp to tell me what you have done. Therefore, munjebeko for mwachita by UPND. Me, I'm a fair man. Take that number. Yeah. So that afterwards, nganalanda munjebata apana uwepa. Apana uwepa, apafili so, na so, whatever. I'm a Democrat. 3 years down the line, what have you done? What do you have to show for your 3 years? What do you have to show for your 3 years? Mind you, when PF won elections in 2011, 3 years down the line, there were so many things that were happening. They had done so many things. They had done the 300, they had started the 800, they had started the building a number of schools. They had started building hospitals. They had started building districts in 3 years. Because remember, Sata Fuide in the 3rd year. Erwa Fuide. Afuide mu 3rd year Sata. And in that 3rd year, so many things had started. Zambia was looking like a construction site. Nomba imwe 3 years. Finish mkwete, what do you have to show for your 3 years? And mumone nomba, oko tuafuma ekutari. Eko tuleya, ekuipi. We have covered most part of the UPND leadership. Now we are going to the close. We are going to the conclusion of the UPND leadership. What do you have to show for your leadership? What do you have to show for the time that you have been in government by UPND? Let us be honest. You are many, Papejapa, you are many. So, this afternoon, I want to give you that opportunity. I want you to call in and tell us what you have done. But please, don't talk about, no, 3, whatever teachers and whatever, don't. Because those are things that were going to happen by default. They were really just going to happen. Those things, ni umwenda mwalimwa. It is reaping where you didn't sow. You can't talk about that one. Because that one was something that was inevitable. It was going to happen nonetheless. Whether you haka in the HM had won or you had not won, if anything, it was going to happen even better under the leadership of the PF, because by PF, they are the ones that started. It is because of the schools that PF built that you employed the teachers. Those schools that they had built, they needed teachers. Those hospitals that UPND had built, they needed people to go and work in there. That is how, you had to employ. They just had to come up. So you cannot even claim that. Forget it. Because I know some of you will start calling and talking about teachers and nurses. No, that is a credit that is supposed to go to the PF who built the schools, who built the hospitals. Imwe if there is something that you could have succeeded on, is to make sure that those schools, they had, the furniture, they had the logistics needed for them, to offer quality education. But unfortunately, even on that one, you have failed. You have failed by UPND. So really, tapali chenu chakwati muchitekelemu. Ero mwise, I know, wambibalaza mkwada that yo, kadarism yalipwa. We still have kadarism. And the worst thing is that the kadarism that is there now is actually better than the kadarism of PF. Not that I encourage it, not that I want it. That kadarism should not come back. But however, if you compare the kadarism of UPND and the kadarism of PF, UPND and PF, if you compare between the two, you would actually realize that the cadres of PF vali kobwino, because the cadres of PF, they were entrepreneurs. That's why we knew about them. These are cadres that, were empowered. They were made to open companies. They were made to get contracts, the 20% citizen empowerment, which was a policy that came in and strengthened during the time of PF. It started back then, but it was more emphasized, especially with Edgar Lungu. I do remember Edgar Lungu emphasizing, the 20% citizen empowerment. What was happening under PF was that any government contract, they were supposed to be 20% subcontracted to Zambians. All the contracts, that was a rule. And it is actually still the rule. That policy is still there. So a number of those people who were cadres or supporters of PF, they got empowered through that. And when they got empowered, we saw them. We saw them by the vehicles they bought, the vehicles they drove. We saw them by the girlfriend they had. We saw them, because they used to drink in our local, drinking places and restaurants. We saw them building houses. You see? So, this is how the PF cadres were so prevalent, were so phenomenal. We could see them. They were very visible because of the empowerment that PF did. But of course, one would say, no, PF was just empowering their own cadres. But no, these cadres, they were actually sharing spoils with us. They were sharing spoils with us. They were distributing money in the economy. They brought money in the economy, whereby even the UPND cadres made money out of the PF cadres. Out of the PF cadres, a lot of UPND made money. And by the way, even the UPND cadres were actually getting business. They were getting business in PF by UPND cadre. They were getting business. Some of us, we know these people. They were getting business. And the business that they were getting, the money that they were getting, they were sponsoring UPND for UPND to come and win an election. Unfortunately, many of those UPND cadres who were making money during the time of PF and sponsoring UPND, lero bali pansala. Lero bali kwati ni nyoto kesha fwa, ishiri pamabwe. Lero bali pansala. They are not making the money that you used to make. And a number of them, these are some of the people that I talk to who are complaining that Tuachula, we thought that when UPND come into power, our party will be able to get something, but nothing. But this is what happens when the government has got good policies. You see, this is why for me, I am actually in politics. Because in politics, I like to help people. Okay, I'm in politics, I want to help people. That is my objective. I am in politics so that I can help people. That is my objective. But to help people as a politician, when you're in government, it is easier. Why? Because you help people through policy. On a personal level, people, they will come to you asking you to help them financially. No, help me kuskulu, help me insala, help me umuti, help me ichirilo, help me finshina finshi. And you can't manage. I have helped a number of people. I have taken people to school myself. I've taken people to school. Not people who are my children, who are my relatives, people from outside. I have done it myself. I have helped many people out of the business that I used to do. I ran a very successful business in the IT company, and I made quite a bit of money. And of course, it is about sharing. I never bought an expensive car. The most expensive car that I've ever bought is a Hilux. But because I believe in sharing, so I shared with a number of people. And this is how I formed even that Zambian Voice. I formed that Zambian Voice as a result of my desire to help people. But whatever I was doing, the resources were coming from my pocket, from what I was making from the business. It was not enough. The need grew even bigger. Remember, those of you who have followed me a long time, remember I was even running a street kid program where I was, helping street kids. They were coming to my house. I was feeding them, I was helping them in different ways. I also ran a project, among sex workers. I was helping sex workers, but all that was coming from my pocket. I never had a sponsor. And unfortunately, that pressure was too much. And that is how I ended up into politics. I went into politics so that I can help people. And why in politics is not because I want to get money and then start distributing. It is easy. In government, it is easy because all you have to do is to set up good policies. Good policies like the way PF did. When Sata came in, he set up a policy of more money in the pocket. And he insisted on empowering the citizens. He insisted on empowering the citizens. He insisted on, infrastructure development to open up Zambia. That was PF. And this is the legacy that Edgar Lungu was talking about. Unfortunately, by UPND, with your bitterness, you are bringing in petty things. Petty things such as, no, there was violence, whatever. But the real legacy is there for you to see. The legacy of you by UPND na haka inde ichilema riding on the roads which were done by PF. You can never take away that from them. You can never take away that from them. They did those roads which now, by UPND, you are enjoying. Look at the flyover bridge. Look at the other infrastructure like I've spoken about. I've spoken about the schools, the hospitals, the police houses, the housing projects for the men in uniform. We have houses in barracks. We have houses Muliba Kapokola. We have houses Kuliba Correction Service. This is real. You will never take away from this. You can say whatever you want, but these are things that are visible. You can look at them. You can point at them to say, this is what the UPND, the PF did. And these things, they didn't happen in the last year of PF. They started as early as, the first year, second year, we started seeing, foundations coming up. Even this electricity that we are talking about, PF did add to the grid of, electricity. They did add. They started some projects which have appreciated, the power supply. Whereby when UPND came into power, when Waka in the H came into power, was even boasting to say, now there is no load shedding. But he didn't do anything. The load shedding was actually tackled during the time of Edgar Lungu. And all you did, imweba UPND, remember when Hakainde Hichilema just came into power, Hakainde Hichilema was busy, opening and commissioning and whatever, a number of projects which were started by PF and Edgar Lungu. You remember that he was busy. He was busy going, he was busy going around. But all those projects were started by PF. If indela ndanga woofing, therefore I'm mutu mama phone when I open the phone lines and you tell me to say I'm lying. Wasn't your president busy launching, opening these commissioning and launching? Wasn't he doing that when he just came into power? Did he build those things that he was launching? Mulungushi conference, where he was bragging at Mulungushi conference there. Who started Mulungushi conference? Yes, you can say, no, it was a gift and whatever, but these are projects that were started with the PF. It is the government of PF that negotiated for that. And we have some of these infrastructure. It is not UPND. It is not UPND. Imwaba UPND, what do you have? What did you start? 3 years. 3 years into your government, what have you done? What do you have to commission? What will Hakainde Hichilema be opening in 3 years? What? Nothing. Ama toilet. Mwakula ama toilet ayafwasa. Ama toilet which people are not even using. That is all you did. You went to commission clogged toilets. Toilets actually womba emwamguchita open. That is your success if you want, because some people will say, no, at least they be positive. Imwama toilet emwachita emwapangirepo. And the ama toilets now, they are not working. They are not working. So what have you done for you to be bragging to say, no, we have done something? What have you done? What have you done? You have nothing to boast about. You have done nothing in terms of, advancing, moving our country forward. You haven't done anything. 3 years, nothing. But now we can flip it over to talk about what about the negatives. All you have more negatives. More negatives. You don't have anything. You have no scope. Ama zero. And you have messed up our country. And again, when I make such a statement to say you have messed up our country, I am able to point at those things that you have done to mess up our country. To start with, just to start with, umuntu bamuchebapa ifo eko 12 matobatu umuntu bamuchebapa pamala ichalo fyakulya. Ichalo fyakulya. For a country to prosper, you must have food. That is number one. That is, any leader who is wise, any leader who cares for people, the first thing that he thinks about is food. Food is very important. Food security and the prices of those that food is very important. Imwe by UPND, the moment you came in, when Edgar Lungu was there, we used to have bumper harvest. We had bumper harvest. We even beat a record. I think that was the 2020, if I stand to be corrected, 2018, 2019. We had a high record of farming output. Why did it happen like that? It did not happen because we also had dry spells during the time of PF. We had dry spells. But PF put up policies and enhanced those policies. The policies that they enhanced is the farmer input supply. They made sure that there was fertilizer all over in this country. There was fertilizer all over in this country. They made sure they brought seed at the right time. They made sure that a number of people got that farming input. That is for sure. And you know, one of the things that you people complained is that, some people who were benefiting, they were not supposed to be beneficiaries, which is actually okay. What is important is that it was so much that a number of people, even people that were not on the list of beneficiaries, they benefited, which is okay, because at the end of the day, we had food security. We had food security. That is why when you people came in 2021, you find a lot of maize lying around all over the country. And for you, you started selling. You see the policy? You started selling off that maize. Selling off that maize. When you sold off that maize, the next thing, and you were bad in terms of farming input. People, fertilizer, paminwe. Fertilizer, paminwe. Imbuto, they didn't have. So you sold the maize which was there, and you couldn't replenish, or you couldn't supply the farmers with the farming input.